Hey guys, B Toys here. Today is Tuesday, August 10th. I hope everybody had a good trading day. We're going to be taking a look at SPY, QQQ, and IWM to get a quick update of what we could potentially be seeing over these next couple days into these next couple weeks. Um, so if you go back and check out my other videos, you can kind of see where we got to where we currently stand. But what we're trying to do here is we're actually in the process of finishing off a wave three, a primary wave three. So where do we stand within this primary wave three? Well, we had a 5 wave impulse to the upside to bring us to a 1. We had a 3 wave move down to the downside to take us to a 2. And then this is the last higher degree wave that we hit was a 2. And now we're working on a new 5 wave impulse to the upside to take us up to the higher degree wave 3. So where do we stand within that? Well, so far what we've seen is we've seen a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and now we're working on a 5. Either we've already topped for our wave 5 today and we're going to see a flush tomorrow, or maybe we extend a little bit higher. Maybe we even go up as high to kiss this upper trend line before we ultimately reverse lower. But we should be seeing a reversal lower because this is going to be a wave 1 peak. Obviously, if we have a 5 wave impulse to the upside, that brings us to another higher degree wave 1. So we should see a retracement about 60%. So where does that take us? Well, if we do get the 60% retracement, depending on where the top is up here, it's going to put us somewhere right around this 440 range, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher. But when we do get that flush, it's going to be a great dip to buy because that's going to be taking us down to a wave 2. So when we do get a clear 3 waves to the downside, taking us somewhere in this ballpark, that's going to be a good spot to get in. From there, we should rally to break above this the uptrend line, and then ultimately we should be getting SPY somewhere into the mid 450 range. But first, we need to get this flush to the downside so we can make an entry. Now, with that being said, that's the bull side. The bear side is that hey, we're not going to extend into this 5 waves impulse, and we're going to top somewhere up here. Maybe we go up and kiss this upper trend line, and then ultimately we just blow off top from up here. If that happens and we go beneath 436, that's your cut loss spot. Because of my count being a wave 1 and a pull down for 2, this bottom right here, this 436 range, is my invalidation line. So if SPY goes beneath 436, it means I need to recount, and that's the area that I'm going to be watching for. If we break it, then I may turn bearish. So be mindful of that level, but we should see a 3 wave move to the downside, and it'll be a good dip at buy spot. Okay, let's take a look at QQQ. Now, QQQ has been weak. Um, my video over the weekend, my count was invalidated, so I went back today and recounted it. It's interesting what it's actually doing, but it looks to be like it's going to flush again, which will be another dip by spot before ultimately heading higher. So let's dive into this a little bit more. So basically, what we saw is that we're trying to finish off this wave 3 as well, and we're in this wave 5 of that wave 3. So now let's take a look a little bit deeper. So we had 5 waves up for a 1. We had a very shallow ABC correction down for a 2. From there, we pulled up for an A, pulled back for a B, popped up for a C to give us a wave 1. Pulled down for a 2, 3, 4, 5. So a very interesting impulse to the upside that took us to a higher degree 1. So the reason that I'm saying that this is a wave 1 right here is because of how deep we're retracing. It's pretty obvious that what we're looking at right here is an A, B, and a C correction. The question we have now is, did we bottom our C today, or are we going to go ahead a little bit lower? Now, I think we're going to head a little bit lower, and I do think that QQQ is going to go probably around 363. I think that will be the bottom. The reason I think that, and I don't think the bottom was set today, even though it basically kissed this 365 100% extension, the reason I don't think that the bottom was set today is because I favor SPY to go lower. I think we're going to shed about 1% off SPY, maybe 0.5% if it doesn't go any higher. And because of that, I think QQQ should lose right around the same percent wise as SPY. And if it loses 1%, where does that put us? 363. So that's why I'm favoring the 161.8% extension on QQQ. But either way, as long as you're buying with time, I still think dips are buying QQQ because I still do think that we are ultimately going to get somewhere between above 370, probably into the almost 380 range before we see another massive drop. So similar to SPY, I want to give you an invalidation level. The invalidation level for me on QQQ is 360. Why? Because that's my wave 2 right here. So we popped up for a 1, we pulled back for a 2. So if we break this level, that means that this count is invalid, and that's not a good thing because that could mean that we've already topped. So that's the level I'm going to be watching. But as long as we stay above it, then I am bullish. Okay, let's take a look at IWM. Okay, so IWM, I've still been expecting to lead the next leg up. It seems like it's been lagging a little bit and it hasn't really taken off as fast as I expected. But then today it did show a little bit of strength because it obviously didn't flush nearly as much as the NASDAQ did. So what have we seen so far? So I still think that IWM is going to be going to the 230 plus range. But let's talk about the price action we've seen today, because this area right here is the only thing that's really changed since my video over the weekend. So if you want to get into a little bit deeper, go watch that video. But basically what I'm seeing is that we're in this 5-wave impulse to the upside to finish off this minute wave 3. So what are we seeing? So we pulled up for 5 waves for a 1. We pulled down, popped up and pulled down again. Look what we've seen here. Look at this trend line, this dotted trend line. It looks like we've put a double bottom into place. So we had an A, B, C move. I didn't put it on here because it would just dirty it up and it would be hard to see if I had more numbering here. So it looks like we've already had an A, a B, and a C move. So then the question is going to become, hey, did we put in a double bottom with a C move already here? So there is a chance that bottom for wave 2 was already set today and that ultimately we're going to head higher from here. Time will tell. Or are we going to head into a double correction where we had an A, a B, and a C, and ultimately that's a W, pop up for an X, and ultimately we're going to flush lower? If we do go into a double correction, which it is probably more likely that that's the case if SPY and QQQ flush more, then there's a good chance that IWM is going to find bottom somewhere around the 220 range, which will be in line with this dotted trend line that I've drawn. So I do think it could head a little bit lower, but that's going to be a great dip buy because maybe we put in a triple bottom, who knows? Or maybe the bottom's already set from today. With that being said, I still do think that the dips are a buy in IWM, and I think across the indices in general, that I am going to be bullish at least heading into September before we see a bigger correction. I think that we're going to have at least one more ripping rally. Maybe it's over a week or two, or maybe it's in 2 weeks from now. Who knows? And then from there, then we may see a bigger pullback across the indices. So similar to SPY and QQQ, I want to give you my invalidation level. My invalidation level technically for this impulse would be 217. But with that being said, if we break this trend line, this uptrend line, the pink uptrend line, I would be very cautious about where it could potentially be going. So you definitely want to be careful at these levels, guys. But either way, I still do think that there is more upside that we are going to be seeing in these upcoming weeks. So, all right, guys, if you like these videos, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe.